Hello, Jeremy here, and my friend and colleague Swazi, and unfortunately we're here to share some difficult news with you. Today we need to share the things we don't like to talk about, the difficult challenges that we face as a part of 10,000 Homes, and we often don't want to share these things because they're difficult, and we would much rather talk about changing the world. We'd rather talk about passion and purpose, and we talk about families, vulnerable families who get a new home and a new place to live. These are the things we want to talk about, but we have to talk about the challenges too, and that's one of the things I think we're realizing now in this season as 10,000 Homes is almost 20 years old. So today we're coming to you to share some unfortunate news and some challenges that we face as a part of 10,000 Homes. And our goal in doing that is to be honest, to be transparent, and also to bring reassurance in this work that we feel very passionate and called to. Just a few days ago, on last Friday evening, at our 10,000 Homes campus in South Africa, we had a small team of visiting volunteers from the UK and from the States. And it was the end of this trip. It was an incredible project that these guys had come and given of their time and their money to come and see this project happen. And we were building a house for a child-headed home in a small village near the 10,000 Homes campus. We had been working in this village for 16 years, and building relationships and running feeding programs there. It's our longest running feeding program is in that community, and it's a wonderful community full of wonderful people, and we had been building there. But this particular project, this house build that we finished on last week, was probably the most significant build we had ever done in this community, and it was quite a moving experience. And on Friday we had had a big party, and we had handed the keys over to this young family, and we had celebrated. And I think there were a couple of the guys said this was the most incredible experience of their life, and there was a lot of emotions. It was a really high. So we finished up all that. We finished up our party, and we ran back, put the tools away at the 10,000 Homes campus, and all went and took quick showers. And then we were all going back out front at the campus there to load into our vehicles to drive into town for a celebratory dinner. And it was around 6:45 p.m., maybe 7 p.m., and we were all out front in our cars. There were, I believe there were 13 adults and 3 children. There were 3 other adults that had not come out of the houses yet. But as we were sitting there by the cars, I was actually sitting in the car in the driver's seat. A group of men, of armed men, they raided us and surrounded all of our cars. And they forced us all out of the cars, and they held us for roughly 20 to 30 minutes. I'm not exactly sure on the time, but they held us hostage there while they went through all of our belongings. And they went through all the cars, and they stole our possessions. They stole wallets and bags and cell phones, and then they made off in one of our cars. Very fortunately, no one was hurt physically. No one had to go to the hospital. There were no shots fired, and thankfully we were able to diffuse the situation and keep it calm. But as you can imagine, it was quite traumatic. It's traumatic for our staff, traumatic for our visitors, and it was an incredibly horrible situation. What we do know is this world's not safe, and there's horrible things happening all over the world, and we don't think that we're necessarily special. But over the years, we haven't talked about crime, and we haven't talked about these things because we never wanted to create fear for the guests who come and see us. Africa is a wonderful place of hospitality, and unfortunately there is a fight for their calling in hospitality. There is a war going on with this crime, and we were just a part of that and a victim of that this past weekend.
As a South African, This is actually really heading, because I grow up here in these communities, and um, crime sometimes it it becomes a norm, but it's not a norm. It should not be. Um, it should not be a norm where people are constantly living in fear. And even that Friday, what happened? Um, it became that way. I'm just sharing this because I'm heading and I'm disappointed, and because at the end of the day, we are trying to do something beautiful, and unfortunately, that same day where after we celebrated handing over the keys, as Jeremy was saying, we've met with this unexpected guest, and yeah, this is just for me as a South African. I condemn this. This is not how life should be, especially when we have our friends coming over and blessing our communities, and then at the end of the day, we are meeting with such violent like this, and so yeah, I just want to share that as South Africans, this is something that we need to look at it, because at the end of the day, we are a hospitality country, and we are a Rainbow Nation country, uh, and yeah, I'm just deeply saddened about actually what happened.
You know, over the years, yeah, through all of this, and after, especially after incidents like this, it's easy to retreat. And sometimes we need to retreat. We need to pause. We need to um, understand what's going on in our heads and in our hearts. And that's what we've been trying to do. Currently, everyone is safe, and we have all the volunteers that were here have traveled back to their respective homes, and the situation is safe at the moment. We spent the last few days doing all of the aftermath, following up with bank accounts and insurance and police reports and all the different things. And so this is going to linger on, and there's going to be a bit of work for our small team over the next couple weeks. We just wanted to let you know that. We also wanted to say that a few months ago, we as a 10,000 Home team went through a process, a vision process of talking about, hey, we're coming up on 20 years. What do the next 20 years look like? And what is our commitment to this work? And we feel that we feel more passionate and more called to ever to the work we're doing. I think everyone on our team is very big picture minded, globally minded. We want to see the transformation of all societies, and we have huge visions, but we believe that our part is shelter and nutrition for Africa. And we even were contemplating, do we need to take the word Africa off of it, and do we need to start doing shelter and nutrition beyond Africa? But we felt very specifically that our job was not done in Africa. And so 10,000 Homes and our team is committed today more than we ever have been to this work of shelter and nutrition for all of Africa, and for the most vulnerable, for the orphans and the widows. And yeah, and we're going to press on. We are going to have to make some changes. Yeah. This is going to impact the future of how we do things. And we have, for many years, visiting teams and volunteers have been a big part of our work, and we want that to continue. But we have to relook at things, and we have to evaluate our situation, and we're going to have to be making some strategic changes, and we'll keep you informed as those come out and in the future. But that's where we're at right now, is we're committed to moving forward and to making changes necessary that we can do this to the best of our ability. We thank you for your support over the years. We thank you. We're almost 20 years old, and I can't believe I thought this was going to be a project for 3 to 5 years, but yet it's turned out to be a life calling for us, and I have no regrets. Even in the midst of all of this, in the midst of this pain and what we went through this last week, I have no regrets in this work and in this calling and in this place. So thank you, and God bless you. Thank you for listening this far, and please keep us in your thoughts and in your prayers. We definitely need it as we navigate the future over the next few months. Thank you.
Siyabonga.
Siyabonga.